The book is called Can't Hurt Me. Why is it called Can't Hurt Me? Life isn't fair. We have to understand that. It shouldn't be fair. It's a trial ground, it's a testing ground. It's built to make us harder. It's built to make us as strong as we can, to test us, to drive us. So, mentality is the only thing that gets us through life. I was an underdog.
We tend to do the things that are easy. And that is it builds no mental toughness, it builds no mental hardening, it builds nothing. When you working out is where you can build that the fastest. Because it's a constant, it gives you instant feedback. Yeah, you may not lose the weight you want to real fast, but the discipline it takes, it transfers over to all aspects of your life. It's not people, man, why are you always working out? Stop looking at it that way. This is the foundation of life. When you look in the mirror, every morning we all look in the mirror to get ready to go to work, to go anywhere. The first thing you see is your reflection. If you don't like what you see in the morning, you lost the war already. It's not about even liking what you see. It's about looking in the mirror and you may start, man, I feel different. That reflection is not everything. It's a feeling you're supposed to get. So you have to, in life, once you leave your house, the war begins. In your house, you have some control. And that reflection in that mirror, you have to control that reflection in the mirror. That's how you start your day. If you leave your house feeling like, okay, I can fight. I've established the mentality to fight. And that all that comes from working out. It's not just from, you can't find that in the office.
Everybody's story does either harm or good to them. You have to go back in there, in that muck, face that muck, fix that. Because what happens is, when I was in Navy SEAL training, one of my jobs was to train guys to get through Navy SEAL training. And I started realizing that I was training these guys, they were getting bigger, stronger, faster, all this other stuff. But they would still quit. All I was doing was building bigger, stronger, faster quitters. And I started down, I was like, what the hell am I doing wrong, man? I was changing all the external crap. I wasn't going into the internal and changing what really matters. So that's what the first step is, and I talk about it a lot in my book about how, like the steps about doing that, man. But the first step you have to do is face yourself and be accountable for what you're not. So then you can be what you want to be. But first face what you're not. So I like Gary Vee, but I'm not tripling down on strengths. I'm tripling down on weaknesses. On the other end of suffering is a life that many people don't know even exists. It's a beautiful world,
but you have to learn how to fail. I had big dreams. A lot of us have big dreams, big goals. And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting to that goal, you're gonna have a lot of bad days.
Because like the 40% rule, we all live in this world where our brains are keeping us in this box. Outside that box, on the other edge of suffering, which is on the other edge of that 40%, is a world that's endless of opportunity. But we are afraid to go outside that box because in that box is comfortable. That's where all of our nice stuff, that's where the nice 4-lane highway's at. I know where the restrooms are at. I know where the gas stations are at. Outside that box, man, God gives you a shovel and says, man, start digging. That's not fun. But when you dig your own path to all kind of stuff that's unknown. And that's why I started realizing, man, like on the other end of this is some beautiful stuff. So I got outside my box and realized, man, 300 pounds, now look at me, I'm 185 pounds. And on the other side of the box was all this stuff. And I didn't know it was over there until I climbed the wall and saw it.
So what wall are you climbing now?
Man, right now, I've climbed a lot of walls. There's no more walls anymore. The reason why is because I know how to climb.
A lot of setbacks. So I was just failing. I kept failing and kept failing and kept failing. So I had to teach myself how to fail right. And what that means is when I fail, I can't spend much time in that fail zone. I have to be able to get up and get after the next day just as fast. So the big thing is know that if you have big goals and big dreams, along the way, failure is going to happen. So how fast do you get up from that? And you got to teach yourself that.
Afraid to fail? Then you're afraid to grow. If failure scares you, growth will break you. Failure isn't the problem. Avoiding it is. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because you're still alive enough to try. That loss, that rejection, that business that crashed, That workout you couldn't finish. That dream that died screaming.
But the biggest key to success in anything you do is you got to have an unlimited supply, this drive and passion. And it may come from nothing. Like for me, there was no passion, no drive, no nothing. But I had this fire that I'm going to be somebody. And it has to be there because on all those bad days, on all those days you don't want to do shit, you have to be your own motivator, your own coach, your own trainer, your own everything. So to do that, you have to come into work, and work is whatever your work may be, ready to go.
Because until you own it, you can't fix it. No one's coming to rescue you. No mentor, no viral moment, no magic break.
And what that means is you may have failed miserably yesterday, but you come to work like, people are like, man, you just lost everything. How the hell are you this damn motivated? Because this is what it takes. This is what it takes. And you got to get it from wherever you can. Whether you make up this illusion of your life or this false reality that gets you motivated, whatever gets you motivated, it's got to be here at the tip of your brain at all times. Because in those dark moments, you got to pull it out. So that's the big thing for me, man. I was always fired up at all times.
Every time you fall flat, life hands you a blueprint. But most people, they quit. They take failure personal. They think failure's a stop sign. It's not. It's a damn map. Failure is feedback. Every L you take is teaching you how to become dangerous. You don't learn when you win. You learn when you get punched in the face and still decide to come back.
The underdog becomes a beast when doubt turns into relentless action. Beasts aren't born. They're built. In the grind no one sees. No cameras, no applause, just brutal, lonely reps. An underdog with a beast mindset is the most dangerous person alive. When the world counts you out, that's when the beast wakes up.
We are all underdogs in life. Even the baddest person in the world should think that way. So you should always have I've never arrived mentality. And the can't hurt me mentality is no matter where you come from, the sewer or wherever you think you're from. When I got out of the sewer, I got to the road and looked around and said, can't hurt me. Nothing should be able to hurt you. If you believe that, it starts to become true.
Underdogs don't cry for respect. They earn it through undeniable work. A beast doesn't bark. It hunts in silence until it dominates. Being an underdog, that's a gift. It forces you to develop savage discipline. No entitlement, just hunger. The beast inside you doesn't care about odds. It only understands one language, obsession. Underdogs don't fear giants. They sharpen their claws in the shadows. And when the underdog stops seeking approval and starts seeking blood, the beast is unleashed.
It's about, so I hated the water. Hated the water, and that was about being in that box. If I didn't get over my fear of being, of being in the water, I'd never be a SEAL. I'm gonna be up here right now. I have no story to share. By me saying, okay, man, I'm afraid of the water, and that's kind of shackling my mind, it's by facing those things, that's how you open up different doors of your life. Because all these things that we're afraid of, they're doors that can possibly lead you to a whole other world.
People quit when things get hard because they think it's over. But it's not. It's only over when you decide to walk away. And until then, until you say, no more, until you give your last breath of effort, you still have a shot. Find that one reason why you started. Hold on to it like your life depends on it, because maybe it does. Because sometimes we don't realize how close we are to the breakthrough until we take one more step. You don't have to be perfect to keep going. You just have to be willing. Willing to take one more step, one more breath, one more try. Because giving up may feel like relief in the moment, but it never lasts.
But we keep them shut for fear, for insecurities. And that's what the thing about tripling down on your weaknesses, so then those weaknesses end up becoming your strengths. It's the ultimate power to stand in front of a group of people, and you all can ask me any question you want to, and I'll answer it. That right there is what I talk about authenticity. It's being able to know that your life is jacked up, that we all come from a past that may be bad or good, and to own it, and not to be ashamed of it. to not be afraid for people to judge you. You know, not care what other people think. To be able to walk around in your own skin and be so comfortable in it that you can write your whole life, all the bad, not the good, all the bad on the billboard and walk around like this. This is me, man. This is me. That's authenticity to me. And when you get to that point, when you can walk around with those middle fingers up, not really like being mean to people, but saying, judge me, man. This is it. This is who I am, but I'm fixing it. I'm not just letting it, it's not defining who I am, but that's a part of my life. You know, and it's just owning who you are and not being ashamed of it.
And that is a lot of power in that. To be able to put your life on a billboard for the whole world to see and say, judge it, man. Judge it.
People don't hate you for who you are. They hate you for what you represent. You're walking proof that their excuses are lies, that comfort is a trap, that they could be more, but they choose not to be. So they hate your success, your discipline, your refusal to fold. Because every time you rise, you force them to confront their own surrender. Hate isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a cold shoulder, a backhanded compliment, a passive-aggressive jab, or silence. The loudest rejection of them all. But here's your power move. Hate means you're visible. It means you've become someone they can't ignore. So don't shrink. Don't apologize for being strong. Let their hate sharpen your focus. Let their judgment fuel your grind. Because one day, when you break through, that hate will turn to envy. That silence will turn to noise. And they'll have no choice but to remember your name.
Like just me talking about it makes me feel good. And that's another thing about it. When you are willing to talk about how jacked up you are, the strength, that big rock that you carry, it just starts to come off you. It just starts to come off. That's why I do it so often. I'm like, hey man, I'll tell you anything you want to know. I'm tired of being afraid. I'm tired of not telling you shit. I'm tired of lying about how good I'm not.
Failure is not your enemy. It's the most honest teacher you'll ever meet. Every failure cuts the weak, but it sharpens the relentless. You don't fail when you lose. You fail when you quit. Failure is the entry fee for greatness. Most people, they're not willing to pay. Success whispers, but failure screams the truth you've been avoiding. Fail fast, fail hard, learn faster. That's how champions are made. Failure isn't a final verdict, it's feedback. It's the blueprint to becoming unstoppable. Those who fear failure, they'll never taste victory. They'll sit on the sidelines watching others build the life they're too scared to chase. Behind every overnight success is a graveyard of failures no one talks about. Failure doesn't break you. It reveals whether you were ever serious. If you want to win, you've got to be willing to lose again and again until you earn it. When you think bigger, act different, and move with purpose, weak minds won't understand you. They'll judge you, whisper behind your back, mock what they can't comprehend. But here's the truth. Being misunderstood is a sign you're doing it right. The crowd hates what it can't control. They hate you because you don't follow their lazy rules. They hate you because you remind them of their own excuses and surrender. Let them hate. Let them doubt. That's free few. You're not here to be liked. You're here to win. You're here to build a life so undeniable that even your haters can't ignore it. The misunderstood, they're the ones who rewrite the game. The hated, they're the ones who rise while others rot. So stay misunderstood. Stay hated. That's the path to becoming unstoppable.
You have to believe that you are here on this earth. So what changed my whole mindset, really? I was thinking, like, why the hell did God put me here? What am I doing here? If you have that mentality, you could be nothing. You have to believe that you are here for a reason. That there's some reason. Me getting beat up, me getting tortured, me being bullied, me being born with no foundation, me having to figure all this shit out on my own, figuring out this indestructible mental toolbox, had to be for a reason. And my reason, I believe now, I know for a fact, was to unlock the code to human potential. And for me to share that with people.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising up every time we fail. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising up every time we fail. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Do not be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start over again. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. Failure should be our teacher, not our undertaker. Failure is delay, not defeat. It is a temporary detour, not a dead end.
So this is where the 40% rule comes in, people. Worst shape my entire life. I've been through Ranger School, Delta Force selection twice, 3 hell weeks, all this crap. This is the worst pain I've ever been in. To this day, I'm 43 years old right now. I did 21 years in the military. I've done 60 ultra races, pull-up records, all kind of stuff. This is the worst pain of my entire life to this day. But this is when I had to realize one thing. I had to break this humongous thing down to very small. All I put in my mind was, let's not quit yet. I'm gonna quit, but not yet. So I sat there, I can't stand up, so let's get some nutrition. All right, I'm not dizzy anymore. Let me clean this crap off me, okay? I need some food. I'm gonna quit after I eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. All right, but not yet. Let me see if I can stand up. Stand up, maybe I'll quit. Let me see if I can walk to the car. There's the car, it's a 1 mile track. I'll walk past the car, I'm just gonna get back to the chair. I'm not gonna quit yet. I kept this mindset the whole time.
The world doesn't care about your grief. It doesn't pause. It doesn't wait. But if you fight through it, you can build a life that makes every second of suffering worth it.
I ended up doing 30 more miles. Did 31 miles, truthfully, after that. I did 101 miles in 19 hours. If you drive in the car may say 130 miles an hour. The factory puts a governor on it, so you only go 91. So you're sitting there when to race somebody, they have no governor. They're fine. Boom. You can't, because every time you get to 91, the car starts doing this. Starts doing this. We put a governor on our brain, and the second we get to that governor, our bodies start doing this. Oh, this sucks. This is uncomfortable. No, let's go this way. Let's stop. It starts giving you all these questions that we cannot answer. If you can't answer the questions your brain is asking you, you quit. If you have the answers to those questions of why the hell am I out here, and you give it a quick answer, the brain starts shutting up because it knows why we're doing what we're doing. I started figuring these things out in my life. So we have this governor on our brain, and how you start pushing past that governor, start realizing your brain has the tactical advantage over you. Why? Because it knows your insecurities. It knows when you're lying. It knows your fears. It knows everything about you. And whenever those things start, like right now, I'm scared to death up here. Why? When I was in 6th grade, I was in a play. And I stood up in front of a whole bunch of white people that probably didn't, I was being judged in my mind. Scared the shit out of me. And I stuttered severely bad. I knew I stuttered bad. My line was this long. It's like hello or some shit. And I stood up for everybody, and I was like this. And I walked off stage. So when I walk up in front of 1,200 people, it's still there. My mind's telling me, go, run off the stage. I have to tell my mind something different. I have to remember my resume, what I've been through, that all of you in here are just up as me. We post our real life, never on Instagram. We post the life that we want to have out there. That's not me anymore. I'm gonna tell you exactly about me, who I am. That's how you get better. That's how you fix yourself. That's how you grow.
When you feel broken, never give up. Because that feeling, that pain, it's not the end of your story. It's the part that shapes you, the part that forges something deeper. I know it hurts. I know it feels like no one sees what you're carrying, but you're still here. And that means you haven't lost. Look around you. Look within you. Life, in its magnificent complexity, will inevitably bring moments that test your very core. Moments when the weight of the world feels too heavy.
Right now, a lot of you right now can be motivated as hell, go out of here and be like, yeah, I'm motivated. Like you said, you're right. Not being driven or obsessed, this motivation fades. And motivation is at the all-time high when your bills are paid, when your wife or husband is good, when everything is good, you're motivated. It's that person when all hell breaks loose and everything falls apart that says, I still got to get it in. And how you get to that point in life, what I figured out, it's so noisy right now. This world is so noisy. We all walk around with these phones, computers. The world is so fast. We're not able to think. The most powerful weapon in the world, we walk around with it. It's our mind, it's our brain. You have to be able to go into a very dark place in your mind and figure who you are. Go back to what you want to do, what's your purpose. We can't figure our purpose out or why we're here or why we're even born or whatever because it's so loud in our mind. We don't have any quiet time with ourselves to sit back and say, what do I really want? There's so many different dialogues in our head that we can't think. So my biggest thing is you have to be alone in a very dark place in your mind to think about what is important to you.
Awesome.
Realized is I'm not a cookie cutter type of guy.
Right.
I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to help you. If you're coming in to work with a guy like me, who knows that you have to have thick skin to get better, you have to call yourself out. If you're fat and I want to hear that. I don't want to hear you tap dancing around shit. So I don't take on many clients because when you work with me, we're going to get to the root of the problem. And a lot of people don't want to go there. They don't want to talk about their childhood. They don't want to talk about their past. They want to get to the root of the problem, and then they go, why am I not getting better? Because there's a lot of shit in there you haven't dealt with, brother. People go to the gym, like for instance, going through any kind of special operations school. These people go to the gym, they get big, they get jacked, they can run fast, all that shit. But the only thing they're doing is they're coding over the mind. All you're doing is building a bigger, stronger quitter. Your mind hasn't gotten any stronger because you haven't gone back in there and dealt with shit. So the second adversity comes, like, my God, I'm so fit. What's wrong? Your mind is still soft. So I work on the mind. It's hard for me to respect people who are able to come into that world and leave.
You're not busy. You're not overwhelmed. You're just lazy, and it's time to admit it. That's the truth. You're not burnt out from grinding. You're exhausted from procrastinating, scrolling for hours, making excuses, watching others win while you stay stuck in the same miserable loop. Most people hide behind, I don't have time. But here's the truth. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The CEO, the single parent, the athlete, the entrepreneur. They're all busy, yet they still work out, still build, still show up. Laziness isn't just lying in bed all day. It's knowing what you should do and not doing it, saying you want change, but avoiding the work, complaining about results while repeating the same weak habits. Every time you choose comfort over effort, you're choosing to stay weak, to stay broke, to stay invisible. And no one's coming to save you. No miracle, no motivation, just the same cycle. Plan, procrastinate, quit, repeat. Enough!
I'm not a theorist, people. There's a bunch of people who are theorists who go to the library, study the mind. They study it in a book. I studied it by being a practitioner. I put my mind in hell, and I realized how it was thinking. And I figured out tools and tactics on how to get through it by being in it, not by studying it, by being in it. And literally, that's how I started callousing over. You know how, so I did 67,000 pull-ups in 9 months, and it calloused my hands. It calloused my hands real good to protect my hands against the bar. I started learning how to callous my mind, to callous over my victim's mentality. And that's what I did.
There's a lot of them out there, but most of them are that way for one big reason. They can't see themselves doing it. They can't see themselves doing it. It's one big reason. The other reason is a lot of it is jealousy. When you set these humongous goals and they see that you're getting at it, let's say, for instance, we have a family. Let's say we're all a big family here. All three of us, all four of us are a big family. And every morning I'm getting up training for a 200-mile run. And you see me get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and all you are sleeping. And by the time I get done running my 30, I come home just getting up. How are you gonna feel about yourself? A lot of times when you're an overachiever and you have people, that's what I talk about the mediocrity thing. A lot of our family members, a lot of our friends, they're mediocre. There's always those couple of guys who are uncommon, who want to be better. But you make that mediocre mother look like shit. Whether it's your mom, your dad, whoever. You make them feel horrible. I've been there. I'm speaking from experience. When you get somebody around you, man, who's trying to be better, and you don't have the drive that they have, it's a constant reminder of how fucked up you are. You have to know that that's what it is. Anybody in your course not saying, man, get after it, brother, I'm so proud of you, they have a problem with themselves. Because all you're trying to do is achieve more. If that's a problem for somebody, you have to look at them and say, man, you really have a problem with yourself, huh? It's much deeper than what you think.
Right.
It lies deep in your soul. How I was able to fix myself was I saw how ugly I was towards other people who were great. I was able to look back and say, man, you don't hate that mucker for any reason because he's great. And you're lazy. You're lazy. He makes you feel like shit every single day. That's where it comes from. You gotta know, you have to know where shit comes from to be able to solve it.
You're not tired. You're just weak. That voice in your head saying, skip it today, that's not fatigue. That's failure talking. Nobody cares how tired you are. Nobody cares how sore you feel. You either show up and get it done, or stay soft forever. You want results? Then stop negotiating with your feelings. Muscles don't grow from wishes. Strength isn't built from excuses. Every rep, every drop of sweat, every ounce of pain, that's the tax you pay to level up. Most people tap out when it hurts. That's why most people stay average. You're not here to be most people. You're here to dominate. When your body screams, stop, that's your green light to push harder, because that's where the real gains are. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. You need to become the savage who doesn't miss workouts, who doesn't need hype, who shows up whether it's raining, hurting, or boring. Remember this, comfort is a lie. Pain is progress. So stop whining, grab the weights, and earn it.
I honestly want to be considered one of the hardest men to walk the planet Earth in the history of the world. And what I mean by hard, I'm not talking about the guy who does the most pull-ups, the most sit-ups, runs the most. Just a person who's able to overcome any adversity in front of him, to figure out a way. Hardness isn't about all this physical shit, man. Yeah, it helped me get to where I'm at. But all I was doing in the whole process, the process wasn't to be ripped. It wasn't to walk around with my shirt off. That wasn't it. I knew through the physical challenges, through the physical suffering, my mind was getting stronger. I was literally doing that for a reason. I had a weak mind. All the rest just happened to come with it. I was trying to strengthen the mind to handle all the judgment that's passed on me, perceived and not. Sometimes you make it up in your own head. You know, I just want to be able to handle all of that, everything, physical, mental. I want to be perceived as that, like an old school barbarian, an old school guy that's like, God, dog, man, nothing can hurt the guy, which is why the book is titled, Can't Hurt Me. I want people to have that mantra in their life. Take that with you. Take it everywhere you go in life. And if you believe that and you work towards that, callous in your mind, strengthen yourself, Can't Hurt Me is strong. In any situation, like when I was in Buzz, they beat the shit out of you. I'd be the first one to get up and say, Can't hurt me. And they were beating the hell out of me. But you say that enough to you. False motivation becomes real motivation after a while.
I had to stop thinking normal. I had to stop thinking normal. I can no longer be a common man walking around doing common things. But no one taught me this stuff. It wasn't like I had, I paid a trainer to come train me. Jenny Craig didn't come down and miracle my ass. None of this happened. It was on me. And that's what you have to realize. Everything you do, you may have some support, you may not, but it's on you. You have to make the decision whether you want to be a badass or whether you just want to be mediocre and everything's okay. But being a badass hurts real bad. And that's why I didn't want to do it. But when you're insecure like I was and you're afraid of everything like I used to be, you lie really fast because you don't want the person knowing that you're a punk. So I sat there and I said, you know what? The doc didn't know a whole bunch about sickle cell, so I'm not comfortable going back into training. The CEO bit off on it, and I never quit, but he gave me a medical out of pararescue. But you all know I quit, didn't want to go back in the water. But I ain't telling anybody that for several years. So in that time frame, in 4 years, that became 297 pounds.
This is a lifestyle, man. And people wonder, why am I not achieving more? It's because all of us, once we achieve something, we celebrate for a long years of time. And we wonder, why don't I have drive anymore? Where's it all at? If you don't develop a routine of suffering, and suffering is not like go out and kill yourself every day, it's being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That keeps you hungry every day. If you live in your victories for so long and say, I'm gonna go challenge myself for 30 days or for 2 weeks or run this one marathon, and it ends, I did one marathon. Okay, that's why it leaves you. It leaves you because you haven't set up the next obstacle. Obstacles is how you grow. You must continue to have friction. Friction is where growth is at. With no friction, there's no growth.
At the end of the show, this commanding officer comes up at graduation. There's 22 guys that made it through. And the commanding officer says, we live in a world where mediocrity is often rewarded. These men detest mediocrity. And I sat there and I had time to reflect back on my life. Being bullied, coming from nothing, learning disability, messed up foundation. Life isn't fair at all. At all. So what are you gonna do about it? I knew that no one was coming back to help me. No one was gonna miracle me to be somebody special. Everybody that called me nigger, my dad, my mom, all my situations were on me now, and solely on me. So I had to start developing an indestructible mental toolbox. So I sat there on that couch and I realized, man, I am a piece of shit. And even though the world helped me get here, my false reality helped me even more. And listening to somebody else's dialogue further helped me get here. So I sat there and I had this bright idea, being sorry, I cussed a little bit because my life was hard. So I don't want to water it down. I'm real.
Make up your own mission statement. What do you want to be in life? And once you do that, now you can work with somebody to get better. You can work with yourself to get better. But until you know what you want to stand for, you will always just be sitting down. You'll never stand for anything. But guess what happens when that alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. to train? I don't want to be a SEAL today. Or I don't want to be whatever today. I'll start tomorrow.
My third grade year comes and I'm copying the whole time. I'm cheating on every test because they want to put me in a special school. We all know what special means. You're about to be, have a nice title on you for the rest of your life. So when I heard this, I started just cheating. So when I got to my junior year in high school, I had a third grade reading level. My mom never saw a report card. We lived in a $7 a month place. We lived in a government subsidized apartment, food stamps, all that good stuff. And when I was about 14 years old, my mom met a guy. So we moved from Brazil, Indiana to Indianapolis, Indiana. He got murdered. When he got murdered, we moved back to Indianapolis, Indiana. Or my fault, Brazil, Indiana. By this time, the kids were grown. And when you're young, they don't know black and white. You're just David Goggins. When you get in high school, they start realizing you look a little different. So I got my car. My first car I ever got was a brown Citation. I pull up to school, leave it there all day, come out of school and spray paint on it was, nigger, we're gonna kill you. So this went on from my sophomore year to my senior year. But my junior year, I was like, I gotta get the hell out of Brazil, Indiana. And very minimal education, as you all know. And I get a job spraying for cockroaches at Ecolab, okay? Yeah, it's a good job. So I don't like cockroaches though. So I'm making about $1,000 a month spraying for cockroaches, and I'm working from 11 o'clock at night to 7 o'clock in the morning. Did this for about 6 months. And my nightly, so at 7 o'clock in the morning, I would go to Steak and Shake, my last stop, spray them down, get a large chocolate milkshake, go across the street to 7-Eleven, get a box of mini donuts, chocolate donuts, because I had a 45-minute commute home. I was depressed and food felt good. So I'm driving home, sipping my shake, eating my donuts, chilling out, listening to the radio. I get home this day, my routine was to get home, walk in the door, turn the TV on, walk in the back, Started taking a shower. This particular day, the TV came on, and they said, world's toughest training, Navy, whatever. Get my towel, which could barely fit me. My ass was so big, I had to pinch it like this. So I come back down, I sit down, and all this shit just falls out. So I'm watching TV, and I'm like, my God, man, those nuts. Carrying boats and laws, guys going through SEAL training, and wet and sandy, getting cold, jackhammering, snot bubbles, chafed up, guys ringing the bell, just quitting left and right.
When the path ahead seems to vanish into thin air, when the echoes of disappointment are deafening. Moments, my friends, when you feel truly, utterly broken. You might be tired, you might be on the floor, but broken is not finished. Broken is not failure. Broken just means you've been through something real. Something that tried to stop you, but didn't. And that matters. That means something. You're not weak for feeling like this. You're human. And humans break, but they also rebuild.
So, I get done with SEAL training. I gained the weight back. I'm about 250 pounds. And have you guys heard of the story Lone Survivor? Marcus Luttrell is a great friend of mine. We speak on the Patriot Tour together. I went through Bud's training with Danny Deese, Michael Murphy, Axe, and also Marcus Luttrell. Marcus was the only guy that lived on this operation. It went bad. QRF team came in, Quick Reaction Force team came in of Navy SEALs. They got blown up. Everybody died but Marcus Luttrell. I was at free fall school with his twin brother, Morgan Luttrell, who's also a Navy SEAL. Heard about it, went home, Googled ways to raise money, Googled races, all this other stuff. What came up at 250, hadn't put running shoes on in over a year, was a race called the Badwater 135, where you run 135 miles in one day, pretty much 48 hours, and it's in Death Valley in summertime. I didn't know anything about this crazy world. I thought it was a stage race. I thought you ran like 10, 15 miles, camped out, barbecued, and then ran again. So I called the race director up, Chris Kosman. I said, hey man, I want to do this race to raise money. He said, have you ran 100 miles before? I said, what, in a calendar year? He said, no, in one day. I called him up on a Wednesday, and he says, you only have 2 more races to qualify for my Badwater race. And basically, you have to run 100 miles in 24 hours. The race right there in San Diego that Saturday was called the San Diego One Day, where you run around a 1-mile track for 24 hours. Haven't run it in basically a year. I said, hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm a Navy SEAL. Bad idea. Go to Walmart, get a blue lawn chair, Ritz Crackers Mileplex, and that's my nutrition, people, for 100 miles. Pretty stupid, right? I have my ex-wife out there with me. She's crewing me. I get to mile 70. When you get to mile 70 and you haven't run past 20 miles in your life and you sit down for the first time, what do you think happens? Pretty jacked up, right? Yeah. Well, I'm looking at 3 of my ex-wife, and I'm sitting there. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and I said, I'm kind of making it very abbreviated. In the book, it's a lot more than this, but I'm gonna abbreviate it real quick. I asked her if she loved me. She said yes. Why? I said, 'cause I'm gonna take a shit on myself right now. Because I couldn't stand up because my blood pressure was all messed up. Start peeing blood down my leg. She's a nurse, so she's freaking out. And there's one thing a black man never wants to hear, ever. She said, you're starting to turn white.
You rebuild in silence, in moments no one sees. You rebuild every time you get back up when quitting feels easier. There is no shame in breaking, but there is power in rising. And if all you can do today is stand, then stand. If all you can do is crawl, then crawl. But never let go of that fight inside you. People might doubt you. Life might test you. But the only voice that truly matters is the one inside that says, keep going.
Through training. You have 4 classes to get better. So I got hurt in May, had to come back in January from a broken kneecap, all kind of crap. Stress fractures, totally jacked up. So, how I did it, I actually came back. Stress fractures don't heal really well. So I got through my third hell week of my third class, and in that hell week, we had a guy die of pulmonary edema. It was one of the coldest hell weeks on the planet. So what hell week is they freeze your butt off, and usually you get done freezing, and they try to warm you up. In this particular hell week, it just continued and continued to rain. So we never got warm. He ended up dying Wednesday night of pulmonary edema. So when I got through with hell week, my stress fractures were so bad, and I realized I can't go through I need to get rolled again. I'm broken. And he's like, no more rolls. And I remember that. So at this hell week, I said to myself, man, I can't even walk. I was on crutches again, but after hell week, you get walk week. And after walk week, you have 20 more weeks of getting your butt kicked. So I had a plan. My plan was to show up at 3:30 in the morning, put my black sock on, go in my dive cage, and get duct tape. And I would literally cast my feet up to the mid of my calf. And for the first 40 minutes of the run, I have a pressure, so I still have them now, pressure ulcer that now healed up, but you can see the scars from deflection of the joint. So basically so what I did was I pretty much cast my ankle up my shin so I wasn't doing this and activating those stress fractures. So I ran on my hip flexors. For the first 45 minutes, the pain was so excruciating, but then after that, it would subside. And I would be able to finish the day out. The pain would come back.
Even if you have nothing left, you've still got your will. And sometimes that's enough to move mountains. You weren't built to quit. You were built to endure, built to overcome, built to rise from your own ashes and come back stronger than before. This moment of pain will pass, but the strength you build here, that stays. So don't give up. Not now. Not ever. You're too close to becoming who you were born to be. Broken. Maybe. But defeated. Never. You're not done yet. So breathe, reset, and rise again. Feeling broken doesn't disqualify you. It qualifies you to come back deeper, wiser, and more powerful. So don't let your pain become your identity. Don't let your past write your future. You are more than what's been done to you. More than your mistakes. More than your struggles. This is not how your story ends. This is how it transforms. So hold on, not because it's easy, but because you're capable of more than you know. And the world needs what only you can bring. Never give up, not because it's easy, but because you've already come so far. And the person you're becoming is worth every tear, every setback, every broken piece. So breathe, keep going, and trust healing is on the way.
I'm good now, but what haunts me is that at 24 years old, I was 300 pounds, and if I didn't make a right turn, if I decided to just give in to the feelings I had, I would have died a 300 or 400 pound man working some minimum wage job in my casket, never knowing that I was this guy. And with fear, so I believe in God. And what scares me the most is I believe that God, in my own mind, I'm a big visualization person. So what keeps me going is like visualizing. It's not true, but it helps me. I believe that God had this big chart in heaven. And when you get there, if you earn your right to get there, you get there in heaven, and you get there, let's say I walked up at 300 pounds. And God says, hey man, great job, you made it to heaven. And he rips this page down from Brian Underwood. And now it says David Goggins' chart. He rips it down, throws that paper to the side. And he says, look at this. And I'm reading it. I go, what is this? He goes, how much do you weigh? 300 pounds. What did you do? I was a pest control guy for 40 years. He says, this is what you were supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? A 185-pound person. Be able to run 205 miles. Break the pull-up record. Motivate people. Energize people. Make them driven. Make them passionate. Make them find more. So am I in heaven or in hell? That's what motivates me. It scares me also. Because I believe that we are all leaving a lot on the table. And now when I go to heaven, what I want God to look at me and say is, as you were living, I'm the all-knowing man. I had to get a damn marker out and write more as you were living. You see what I'm saying? I want to impress him. That's what I'm here for.